All in one in all. It is Primus. It sparkles the world. Primus Radio.
Express, exhibit, and slow.
Àwọn ẹranko lọ́ba tí wọ́n nù gbó bẹ́ẹ̀ sì.
Hello viewers at home. It's 45 minutes past the hour of 1 here in the city of Ibadan. And it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon. You're listening live to Heart of the Matter show. Wait for me facts. Powered by Primus Media Academy. Yeah, it is a Heart of the Matter show and we've got a lot of things to talk about this afternoon. So stay tuned as we dive right in with ASU. The lingering ASU strike. A hit or a necessary evil?
STYL+. Oh yeah.
We still there.
4 years don't waka. We still dey carry go. Nobody waka, nobody go solo. Baba God yo, our case yo, now your grace yo. Adupe o. People talk say khaki no be leather.
Yeah, it's been 6 months since the Academic Staff Union of Universities announced an indefinite strike action, which took off on the 17th of February 2022. And since the commencement of the industrial action against the federal government, it's been a period of rise and falling hopes for our dear Nigerian students, as it's beginning to seem that the fast has only just begun. You will recall that the National Industrial Court has on Wednesday ordered the federal government to call up the strike. However, it seems that this order has fallen on deaf ears as the striking institutions had continued with the action. Going by the previous demand signed with ASU, the federal government is expected to invest 200 billion naira into the public universities for 5 years. And at the completion of the 5 years, the money would amount to a whopping 1 trillion naira. $1 trillion naira. And that's a huge amount of money, if you ask me. And I'm sure you'll be wondering what ASU would want to do with such a huge amount of money. I'm sure you've got questions. Well, I would answer your questions, but after we've gone on a short break. Well, the answer is simple. Yeah, welcome back to the show, and if you're just joining us, it is a Heart of the Matter show. Wait for me fat. We're discussing about the ongoing strike action between the Academic Staff Union of Universities and the federal government. Yeah, the 1 trillion naira demanded by ASU is meant to take care of improved staff salaries and better the conditions of service in public institutions. You would remember that not all the universities in Nigeria are under ASU. And at this point, I'm sure you begin to ask more questions. If not all schools in Nigeria are beneficiaries of this amount of money, why then is ASU demanding for such a huge amount of money? And at this point, I'd like to welcome a guest into the show who's going to answer all your questions. And if you got more questions, you can drop them on our social media channel. So right about now, I'll be inviting Steven to the show. You're welcome, Steven.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thanks for having me in the studio. This
Yeah,
afternoon.
it's a pleasure to have you, Steven.
Thank you very much.
And so we're talking about ASU.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been 6 months, or 7 months rather. It's since February, so it's about 7 months since ASU.
7 months now, going to 8 months.
Yeah, since the industrial action against the federal government started. And ASU is demanding for 1 trillion naira from the federal government. Since they asked the federal government to pay 200 million naira for 5 years, and adding that together for the past 5 years, that will be 1 trillion naira. And ASU have paid only about 25% of the demands of the federal government. And so, do you think ASU is asking for too much, judging on the fact that not all schools in Nigeria are under the union?
Well, thank you very much. I wouldn't say ASU is asking for too much because when it comes to the issues of education in Nigeria or in the world, most world leaders tend to put more money, put more effort in education. They so much cherish education to the extent that it's one of the thriving, how will I put it now? It's one of the things that brings, that makes a country to be more better.
Yeah.
You understand? So I don't
Okay.
think ASU is asking for too much.
Okay.
Because once the federal government gives them the money and they're able to go back to school and students are able to start studying again, you understand? Then all these, let me say, these dramas, you understand, will surely end and everybody will be at peace. The federal government will be at peace and ASU will be at peace, and the student will also flourish when it comes to the academics.
Okay, that's a very nice response from you, Steven. Looking at the brain drain syndrome, you would notice that the strike has lasted for 6 months and people have got what to do with their lives, so people are actually leaving the country. You know, I saw on the news some days ago a particular lecturer who was supposed to supervise some project students. He told them in a WhatsApp group chat that he was leaving the country because he could no longer wait for ASU to call up the strike. And what effects do you think the strike would have on the brain drain syndrome, seeing that lecturers are leaving, students are leaving, and all?
Well, I would think it's going to affect our economy as a nation, because once we have our best brains traveling out of the country due to ASU strikes and what have you, you understand, definitely it's going to affect us, because we have to start training and retraining those that are not even up to those that the standard of those that are traveling out. You understand? So it's a very, very bad omen. Let me put it that way. It's a very, very bad omen, and it's like I said earlier on, it's going to affect our economy, because you can imagine even some banks these days, their best IT guys are no more in the country, because there is the economy is not favoring them. The situation and everything is not on their side. So definitely it's a very, very bad thing for us at this stage.
Yeah, I think you're very right on that, Mr. Steven. Thank you so much. You know, we have our best brains leaving the country, and then we begin to battle the issue of expertise, because
Exactly.
our experts they've all left the country,
They
and
surely
then
leave, because when they don't get what they want,
because I feel the country do not value them, so they go where they are valued. And then yeah, that you're very right on that point. Okay, Mr. Steven, so what is the way forward? I mean, if you were asked to suggest, or if you were asked to advise the ASU and the federal government, what would you say to them?
well, the only thing I can say is for the federal government to consider the demands of ASU. Even if they are not going to pay the whole I think 1 trillion that the ASU is demanding, even if they are not going to pay, right? And even I'm sure they are not going to pay, because the election is just by the corner.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
they are planning for election and what have you. So at least they just have to, even if not 50%, even if it is not up to 50%, they should give them something, so that this is 7 months, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
The students should just go back to school, and during NSAS there's a backlog. You understand? So, and the universities are trying to meet up with the COVID-19 NSAS of a thing. You understand? So that, and now we have what's it called now? We have 7 months strike.
Yeah,
and it's still ongoing. You understand? So I think federal government should just sit down, find a lasting solution to all these menace that is just happening.
That's a very good one, Mr. Steven. You know, you're bringing back the issue of NSAS. You're right. Universities, almost all the schools are still trying to cover up for what they missed during there, and then we are going for another 7 months. We do not even know if it's ending at 7 months, or they would last it, they will drag it for longer, because probably for election reasons they would want students to be around. And all. Well, we hope for the best. Nigeria is our country, and we keep praying for Nigeria. The labors of our heroes past shall never be in vain. Thank you so much, Mr. Steven, for joining us today's show. And yeah, it is a Heart of the Matter show with Fumi Fat, and we're looking at the lingering strike action. Is it an overkill or a necessary evil? And as Steven has said, it has come to the time where ASU and the federal government should sit together and find a mutual ground for resolving this dispute, because an old saying goes forth that when two elephants are fighting, it is the ground that suffers. And now the Nigerian students have become the proverbial ground that is suffering as a result of the power tussle between ASU and the federal government. On this note, we'll call it a wrap on today's show. But before I leave the studio, I'd like to give a shout out to my studio manager, Mr. Kenny. And yeah, my real G's in Primus Media City, Steven, Favor Lion, Ara, and Abdul Samad. Not forgetting to say a very big thank you to Mr. for availing me this opportunity. I will eternally be grateful. And on this note, we call it a wrap on the Heart of the Matter show with Fumi Fat. Don't forget, the Heart of the Matter is the matter of the heart. Till I come your way next time, stay blessed.